What's up YouTube? This is SlayIsland. Week 4 of the NBA 2K League is over, and that means it's time for my weekly power rankings. As most people know by now, this upcoming weekend, the Turn Tournament is taking place. This is the first mid-season tournament of the NBA 2K League, and the winning team will be awarded $10,000 per player. I will be releasing my preview video for this tournament a little later this week. But anyway, let's get right into my power rankings. Coming in at number 17, we have Grizz Gaming. Last week in my power rankings, I said the Grizzlies are done. They have no chance of making playoffs, and I still stand by that. They are now sitting at 1-4 after a loss to the Magic. And to be honest, I can only see them winning 1 to 2 more games throughout the rest of the season. There isn't much to say about this Grizzlies team. Let's move on. Coming in at number 16 on my power rankings is Pacers Gaming. The Pacers are the only winless team in the league after a loss to the Heat last week. Looking back at the draft, I think the Pacers might have made the worst pick in the entire league in the 4th round. And that would be the selection of Gunnar, the European point guard. Going into the league, there was a lot of question marks since he never played American talent, but there was also potential to be a great point guard. And so far, it looks like he might be one of the worst players in the entire league. If the Pacers want to turn their season around, I think they need to find someone else on this team who can play point guard. Moving on to my number 15 ranked team, we have Raptors Uprising. I'm going to say it, the Raptors are the second team in the league, in my opinion, that are officially done. They don't have a chance to make playoffs anymore. Sitting at 1-5, they're going to have to go 6-2 in the remaining games just to break 500. I thought the Raptors were going to be a good team going into the season, so this is honestly very surprising to me. They have a lot of good talent, but they just haven't been able to put it together. And I think the biggest reason why this team struggled is the scheme they've been running. For some reason, they thought it would be smart to run the offense through a pure rim protector in the post, and clearly it hasn't worked. Since every game they've tried that, they've lost. The one game they switched it up, they managed to beat the Sixers, but then the next 2 games, they went right back into their post-up offense. Moving on to my number 14 ranked team, we have Bucks Gaming. The Bucks were able to get their first win last week as they defeated the Cavs in overtime. I know the Bucks are sitting at 1-3, but I don't think they're too mad at this start. They've had the toughest schedule in the league to start the season. Their first 4 games were against the 76ers, the Pistons, the Blazers, and just last week against the Cavs. They got through the hardest part of their schedule, and they've been improving immensely. Getting Peroxide in the 5th round turned out to be a huge steal for them, and moving Drake to shooting guard looks like it might pay off. Now let's move on to my number 13 ranked team, the Warriors Gaming Squad. The Warriors got their first win of the season last week versus the Celtics. And in this game, the Warriors seemed like an extremely well-balanced team. They got great production from their guards, and Vert returned to his dominant form. The question for this team is, can their point guard, like a pro, continue to play at a high level like we saw last week? Against the Celtics, like a pro, the 5th rounder outplayed the number 2 overall pick Fab. If he continues to play like this, we could see the Warriors turn their season around and make a playoff push. Moving on to my number 12 ranked team, we have Knicks Gaming. The Knicks are 2-3 after splitting their games last week. They lost to the Kings and then defeated the Raptors. The Knicks have a lot of great players on this team. Idris showed how dominant he could be last week. Goofy has played great all season long, and Nate has played his role very well. But the big reason they're sitting under 500 so far is their point guard play. I'm Adam the First, aka Kid Kuda, has struggled this season. In their 2 games this past weekend, he shot a combined 5 for 18 and had 7 total turnovers. The Knicks are definitely a team in the playoff hunt, but if they want to get in, Kuda has to play better. It's that simple. Next up, the number 11 ranked team on my power rankings, Heat Check Gaming. The Heat are sitting at 2-2 after a blowout win over the Pacers last week. The Heat are a tough team to judge right now. They don't have any impressive victories. Their 2 wins in the season so far are against the Warriors and the Pacers. But at the same time, they have a lot of skilled players on this roster. Hotshot and Majestic are starting to look like the duo everyone predicted them to be in the preseason. But I'm not ready to call the Heat an above-average team until I actually see them beat some competition. Coming in at number 10 on my power rankings is Celtics Crossover Gaming. So far in the season, the Celtics have been a pretty big disappointment. Going into the season, most people had this team ranked in the top 3 of their power rankings. But after losing 3 games in a row, they've fallen all the way down to number 10. I think the problem with this team is they're playing with a losing formula. And what I mean by that is this: Fab is without question the best player on this team, but for some reason, he hasn't been able to shoot the 3 ball. He's shooting under 30% for the season. And then their center, Arsenal, is always in the paint. So if Fab can't shoot the 3 ball or drive the paint, what is he supposed to do? There's not much he can do. Moving on to my number 9 ranked team, we have Magic Gaming. The Magic have won their last 3 games since inserting King Cam royalty into the lineup and are now sitting at 3-2. Not many people expected the Magic to win many games this year, but here they are, 5 games into the season and they're over 500. The coaching for this Magic team has been great. they have a lot of different sets they run, they have a lot of different plays, and it keeps the defense guessing. A few weeks ago, people were saying Control in the first round might have been the worst pick of the entire draft. But looking at it now, it's honestly not that bad of a pick. Next up, my number 8 ranked team, Kingsguard Gaming. The Kings split their doubleheader last week with a win over the Knicks and a loss to the 76ers. The Kings have a lot of talent on this team, but at certain times they just can't put it all together. Timely Cook is one of the best two-way point guards in the league, Safia Foya is a knockdown shooter, and Worthing Colt has been very good at big man all year long. If their first round pick Moody will start giving them more production, I think this team will easily make the playoffs. But so far, Moody is looking like he might have been the biggest reach in the draft, as he's only given the Kings 12 points a game. Moving on to my number 7 ranked team, we have Cavs Legion. The Cavs are sitting at 3-2 after an overtime loss to the Bucks last week. The Cavs have been a very solid team all year long, with or without Hood in the lineup. But after this loss, I think it's time they need to bring Hood back. And here's how I think they should do it. You have to keep Savage at point guard. He's played very well. I would put Hood in at small forward, put him on a sharpshooting shot creator, and let him run the 5 out when the offense is getting stagnant. You still have the team ball that Savage brings, but then you also get the scoring that Hood brings. I personally think this is the best lineup the Cavs could put out there. Coming in at number 6 in my power rankings, we have Pistons GT. The Pistons suffered their first loss last week as they were blown out by the Wizards. Despite being 3-1, the Pistons have a -12 point differential on the season. In every single one of the Pistons wins so far, it has came down to the last minute of the game. And that tells me that the Pistons aren't as good as their record shows. I wouldn't be too surprised if this Pistons team, despite starting 3-0, manages to miss the playoffs. But at the same time, last week could have been a fluke, and it still could be one of the best teams in the league. Moving on to my number 5 ranked team, we have Jazz Gaming. The Jazz are 3-2 after suffering a 3-point loss to the Mavs last week. This Jazz team might be the most well-rounded team in the league, and both of their losses so far have been by under 3 points. The Jazz are a scary team to play because all 5 guys can beat you. You can't just focus in on one guy. I think the Jazz are a little better than their record shows, and I think they will easily make playoffs this season. Moving on to my number 4 ranked team, we have Wizards District Gaming. The Wizards are 3-2 on the season after a blowout win over the Pistons. The Warriors have a top 3 offense in the league and could easily be 5-0. They lost 2 games so far, to the Celtics by 1 point and to the 76ers by 1 point. And in both these games, they had the lead with under 30 seconds left. Boo Painter currently leads the league in scoring, Jin might be the best small forward in the league, and Demon JT is looking like a very good point guard. Nobody wants to play the Wizards going into this tournament, and I wouldn't be surprised if they make a deep run. Coming in at number 3 on my power rankings, we have Mavs Gaming. The Mavs are sitting at 4-1, with their only loss coming against the 76ers. The Mavs probably have the best backcourt in the league. Dimes is without a doubt a top 3 point guard, and Ball-like Seam, in my opinion, is the best shooting guard in the league. Pair that duo up with a center averaging nearly 20 points a game in Dayfry, and the Mavs have a winning formula and are clearly one of the best teams in the league. Moving on to my number 2 ranked team, we have 76ers Gaming Club. The 76ers are sitting at 4-1 and are coming off a 20-point win over the Kings. Looking over all the teams' rosters, I think the 76ers might have the most talented roster 1 through 5. All 5 of their players are extremely solid, and it's hard to find weaknesses on this team. They have one of the best point guards in the league, 2 snipers, a do-it-all glue guy at the 4, and a dominant big man. The Sixers are a very tough team to beat, and I would be extremely surprised if they don't make the playoffs. The number 1 ranked team on my power rankings, once again, is Blazer 5 Gaming. The Blazers are the only undefeated team in the league after narrowly escaping the Raptors in overtime last week. I've said this multiple times, but the Blazers clearly have the best front court in the league. One Wild Walnut and Dapboy's shots are both top 20 in the league in scoring and top 10 in the league in rebounds. After the turn tournament, in week 5, the Blazers have a matchup against the 76ers. This might be the most anticipated regular season matchup of the year, and I think this game will show who's the best team in the league. But that's it for my power rankings. The 2K League Turn Tournament is this weekend, and you don't want to miss it. But if you like this video, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until next time, I'm out.